Okay.
And this is Catie Cutler and Ashlee Bunkelman, and we are on episode 23 or 24 of Peeling
Yeah,
Back.
we're not quite sure.
Not sure, but we are glad to be back. It's been a couple month hiatus, and we have been crazy busy traveling all over the world, of course.
Literally,
And
I have actually been home for about a week and a half. I think it's the longest stretch of time I've been home in a year.
I've been home for 2 days, but then the week before I didn't travel, so it's okay. So Catie we're going to jump right to it today.
This is going to be like a little surprise Ashlee
Yeah,
topic, but not really. She knows, but
Catie has a
I
great,
I just had a plan.
yeah, let's get to it. I'm ready.
Okay. So the way that this topic came about for me, yeah, Ashlee and I were talking about what to what topic we wanted for this podcast. And just so you know, I do have a tank top on. It's 82 degrees here today, so I'm literally sweating. So, but anyway, um,
She's
we were
got
talking about what should we have the podcast about tomorrow, tomorrow. And I said, I have a really good idea. And the way I came up with this idea was speaking with one of our accounts at Hourly's about they wanted to do a refresher. And a refresher is something that we do to just kind of they ask questions, we answer, and kind of help them navigate through using their device better. So we ended up kind of in a consultation type refresher, where I realized during the call that the problem for her was not anything really to do with the laser at all. It was everything to do with everything else that was going on in her practice. And what I mean by that are multiple things. So Ashlee and I were talking and we said, let's do a podcast on like the things that are an absolute must that you have to have in your practice to be successful. It's a absolute must. There's no negotiating. There's no way around it. If you don't have these things, then you cannot have success. And we believe this. So of course, we are not the end of the world do all sale, but this is our belief and our experience. So I thought, Ashlee, that we could both come up with 5 and kind of see if our 5s are similar.
I love this because this past weekend I was presenting in Florida, and one of our discussions and presentations I did was executing the elite consultation. So this is like right up my alley. I'll
Perfect.
go with your 5 first.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, do you have your 5? Are you totally prepared?
I know, but I'll wing it because that's what
Okay. I'm going to wing it a little bit, but I'm kind of prepared. And it
okay.
might not be in order of importance. It's just 5 things. And saying these 5 things doesn't mean there's other things that should be happening. These are like my top 5. And these are the things that help me to get the most success and results with my patient.
Can I start with number 1 on my list?
Yeah. And we should say it at the same time.
Okay. Number 1 on my list is 1, 2, 3 consultation.
Consultation. What did you say? I couldn't hear you. I was talking to the
Consultation form.
Oh,
Yeah.
the form. Well, yes, the whole consultation experience.
You have to have that consultation, but in that formality, I say consultation form because when you look at a patient, you're going to see 3 different top skincare concerns than they do.
Okay, so why don't we do this? You talk about like we'll shorten it up, but what your consultation looks like, and then I'll talk about what mine looks like, and this will give our listeners a variety of options because neither her or I is right or wrong. It's just the way we do it.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I have to interject right now that you're going to laugh. I have both of my dogs in here with me, and one of them
Oh, join the club.
but one of them just farted and it smells so bad. Sorry.
It's next level when
And
that happens.
Catie and I are just real about what we're doing.
We're real. Okay, so in your consultation, how do you run it? It's just a quick version.
So in consultation, I always ask, obviously, name, date of birth is key. And then obviously an email because we use our TouchMD forms at our office. So we can, be paperless to communicate with them through a TouchMD portal, which is not an absolute must, but we like to have their email for that.
And like, listen, we know that some practices will be more savvy, with their technology than others in the beginning. So they're like Ashlee's talking about that. It's that you don't have to do it that way.
No,
That's how they do it.
it just helps you over time. And obviously when you achieve that excellence and success, it's an easier build out. So
Exactly.
with that, I always ask ethnic background, nationality. Then,
Absolutely.
then I go into what their morning regimen is, what their evening regimen is. Then I always on our forms ask if they are prone to keloid scarring. I always ask if they are prone to cold sores. And then we always ask their top 3 skincare concerns. When they look in the mirror, what are their top 3 skincare concerns? And then I do always ask, do you currently see a dermatologist? If so, how often? Then ask, have you had any professional medical grade treatments or plastic surgery? If so, list here. And of course, in their patient intake forms, you're always going to ask their allergies, what supplements they're taking,
Are
what
they pregnant?
yep, what surgeries they've had in the past. Are they breastfeeding is a big one. Are they
Big
pregnant?
one.
Big one. And then also what medications they're on.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll do mine real quick
Yep.
because obviously all those things, yes. The way I always did my like the way I start my consultation every time is I ask the patient, why are you here? What is your objective? What brought you in today? Like
Yep.
what made you say, because not everyone goes to get skincare and skin treatment.
Hmm.
It's not an everybody thing. So something triggered them to come in.
Well, and it could be a referral. It could be a
Or
patient.
they could have got Botox and the person who did Botox said, "Hey, you should really do something about your skin." But whatever the reason is, I want to know. Like I
Yep.
want to know why you came in. And then I say, what bothers you the most about your skin? Because I always say I could look at a patient and say, "This is your biggest problem."
They
But
might not even
that is not their biggest problem.
right.
And what bothers them is what I address first
Yep.
because I want them to be happy,
Yep.
So even if I'm like, yeah, yeah, you need to work on those under eyes, if it's their jowls or if it's their, redness, whatever it is, I focus on that first to make because I want the patient to be happy.
Yep.
Then I do the form, like you just said, with all those questions. Medication is important. Are you pregnant? Have you been in the sun recently? Do you wear sunscreen? What is your routine? All those questions. I mean, they're kind of pretty standard, but if you don't know what that they would look like, you could inbox peeling back the truth, and Ashley or I can give you suggestions. We could put some suggestions what an intake form would look like. And then once the intake form is filled out, I come up with my protocol plan for them. And I give them 3 choices. And the most expensive one, which is usually the one is ideal, what I would love to do. But I
Because it,
also am reasonable in the fact that maybe it's not something they can do at this time. So the second one, I change it up a little bit and it's a little bit less expensive. And the third one is them going home with just skincare and coming back to start their in-office procedures. And they can choose between those 3 protocols because they're all good. It's just not, it's
getting
just which one can they manage
right.
financially?
Right.
And then I make my patient initial the plan. That was a game changer for me because when they initial it, I say to them, this is a contract. And without this contract in place, we're not, you have to sign on with me. This is just a me job. This is a me and you job.
Yep.
So I make them initial it. So if at treatment 3 or 4, they come in and say, well, I don't see results. And I go back in the chart and I see that they came 6 weeks apart instead of 4, that
They product or
they didn't purchase the products I recommended. They didn't do this. They're not wearing sunscreen, blah, blah, blah. I tell them straight out, you broke the contract. We need to start from scratch.
yep.
And I tell them that at the consult. So there's no surprises here for my patient.
The
They
one
know
thing add
exactly what to expect.
the one thing I add in my consult too that I think is very important is pictures.
Oh, well, that's one of the top 5. So I didn't go there yet.
Sorry. I do that in the consult. So I always
Okay.
beginning and they're standing up and they do forward 45 and 90-degree.
Yes. So I'm going to say, let's spout out number 2.
Oh God.
Look, we just said it.
Okay. Photos.
Photos. I mean, they're crucial, right? And how you do it, like Ashley does them in the consult. I don't do them in the consult. I do them at the first treatment.
I do,
So
but I'm over obsessive with my photos.
I know you love your photos, and I mean, they're totally like have to happen. I mean, it's no doubt, but at the same time, it's okay if you don't do them exactly the same as everybody. It's
The reason
just,
why I do them in the consult is because depending on booking, when they book their first initial
yeah,
consult,
they might have their appointment that day.
well, they typically might not have that appointment that day, but then I book them the consult, but then I get them on their medical grade skincare for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I get booked
Mhm.
after, and you can see a difference already in their,
Absolutely.
that's why.
Yes. Yeah, so if say I have one, like I was saying, my patient that only purchases skincare the day of consult and isn't able to get what other treatments I said, them, I will do their before
Yep.
pictures because then I know I'm not going to see them for a month. I want them to see that even that home care is going to help. Just,
Yeah.
that. So I agree. So far we have consultation, before
Photos.
and after photos. These two things, I mean, literally, I don't understand. You can't practice without.
Okay. So 3 is probably not going to be the same as yours, but I think this is an utmost important. I'm just going to say it because patients like simplicity and they get very confused. I say my third is a regimen card. We have,
100. That's my third too.
is it really?
Yes,
Oh,
this
okay.
is
So
so
card,
fun.
a thicker card, AM, PM regimen. Patients that come to you and they're like, I use my body wash on my face and that's it. They're not going to like remember 6 steps or 5 steps, any of those things. I also say keeping products, and I know that we're talking both about the regimen card. It's kind of self explanatory. We give that to them just to keep them accountable at home. 80% at home, 20% in office. But another one that I suggest too, I think is important is don't overwhelm them. 5 products or less to start with, unless they're like, give me more, and they already have like 10 products they're using.
See, I'm even like more simplified. So if they do the 5, that's great. So what I do, if I have a patient coming from zero,
Yep.
if they're coming from zero, like literally they're like, yeah, I don't even wash my face. I know they don't even know what vitamin C is or what it does. So what I try to do at visit 1 is to get them on a sunscreen, a wash, and a moisturizer.
Love it.
I'm
3.
happy with those 3.
Yep.
Then treatment 2, I add morning vitamin C. Treatment 3, I add an active for nighttime.
Yep.
Right? So now I have the 5 products in, and then let them adjust to that. And then, maybe I'll tell them one time they're there, grab this mask or, get these peel pads or, I add them as we go and they start to get more and more comfortable with their routine at home.
Yep. So we have consultation, photos, regimen card, and
Their home care.
plus.
Yeah.
That's,
Yep. So consultation, photos, home care. However you do it, they're non-negotiable.
I
I
also,
have a good fourth one, but you're going to say you're going to agree with it and you're going to be like 100%. And we kind of did it in the consult, but it's like has to be its own entity, I think.
what is it?
Patient compliancy.
Yeah, they have
It,
to.
it's a no, there's no negotiation. There's nothing. Like if you don't comply with my plan, there will not be the result that I promised.
I feel that I'm at a point and stage in our careers, Catie, and this to people listening to us right now, you might think this sounds harsh, and I don't want it to sound that way, but I feel like I'm in a position now when I have patients come to me and they're like, well, I want to do the treatments, but I'm just going to use my generic skincare at home.
I won't take them on as a patient.
I'm doing you a disservice by taking your money for the treatments if you're not ready to get on medical grade skincare at home. Or if they say to me, I don't want to do sunscreen, I don't believe in it, then I don't believe in doing treatment on you because you're throwing
It's pointless. It's pointless. And, real quick about the medical grade and I call it over the counter, but I know it's cosmeceutical,
generic.
generic, whatever. It literally is like this. And I'm just going to use any number. Okay. Let's just say that whatever the ingredients in the product is in a medical grade product, let's say they're allowed to put 50% in the cosmeceutical, they're probably allowed to put 6%.
So
They can put so much more actives in and they don't put bad stuff. Is
so the
keeping it simple.
the way that I express it to my patients, you know, the 80-20 rule, 80% at home, 20% in office.
For all medical aesthetics.
But that's the way I explain medical grade versus generic grade. 80% of generic grade is water, maybe 10 to 20% actives. And then medical grade is
The
80%
opposite.
10 to water. And I use the 80-20 rule a lot, whether,
That's a good job. I mean, that's a good plan. Good job.
good job, thanks. Whether we're talking about medical grade skincare, generic skincare, or the 80-20 rule with at home skincare is 80, in office is 20. I like to get their brain kind of adapted to the
Yeah,
80 because they get that more. It's
they
just like
do.
talk about with diet and exercise. 80-20 rule. You can cheat 20% of the time with your diet as long as 80% you're clean. You can cheat with your, working out as long as 80% of the time you're doing good.
You're clean. Right. You don't have to be perfect all the time. But like, and the other thing is, oh God, here goes my old person brain.
Don't say that.
It's really sad. It just
Not,
thoughts just fly through.
not old, you're just wise.
I don't know. I think I just have too much in there and it's like, I'm getting out. But, what was I was just thinking of kind of something important about that.
And
Anyway, it will pop up again. But so anyway, patient compliancy. Um, and what I'm saying, I just want to really quick talk about that. Okay.
yeah,
Patient compliancy, I feel like what goes under that umbrella is a lot of things. Yes, patient compliancy means them coming back on time for their home care. I mean, for their treatments. So
yep,
if you
while
write a
doing,
protocol up and it says every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks for this initial protocol, and
mhm,
they don't come in that time frame, say they come 7 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever,
yeah,
contract is broken. We need to start from scratch
yep.
because we designed a specific protocol to tailor your skin needs, right? If we don't do it the way it's mapped out, it's not going to work the way we mapped it out.
And it goes back to a couple episodes ago, Katie, when you talk about going to the doctor and you get antibiotics. When you
Yeah,
get antibiotics to help make yourself better, do you only take like 2 of them and then you give up and then you jump back like
you're
2 weeks?
not going to get better.
No, you're not going to get better. And it's the same thing.
Same thing. Perfect. Yep, same exact thing. If you do half of what was told in the contract we made during your consult, you'll probably get half the result.
Yep, you got it.
So, patient compliancy and is 4. So 5, listen, I could probably go on with 10 things, but we're on top 5. These are no non-negotiables. So consult,
Picture
um, pictures, home care, patient
reg-
compliancy.
regimen card too.
Yep. So so I have a 5 that I think, but you tell me what you think 5 is. Because I think 5 is very important, but it's just not immediate.
5 for me is a follow-up consultation once they've achieved their regimen, once they went through their journey.
Yes.
Appointment, because that way you get them on track for at home. And then if they're a patient that can come every month for like monthly enhancement facials, because I hate to say maintenance, because it's like I feel like that's work. Enhancement's not work, right? So like monthly enhancement facials or quarterly. A lot of patients, and of course I'm going to talk about Airlays Neo because we always do, because we love it. But a lot of patients always say, can I do an Airlays treatment every single month if my pocketbook allows me to once I'm fulfilled with the treatment? Well, absolutely. It's not going to harm you.
Yeah.
But if you are on a budget and you need to maintain an enhancement, I say 4 times a year, every quarter. Boom, boom, boom.
Agreed. I love it. We are really on the same mental page.
Yep.
Okay.
We talked about this for 5 minutes on my drive home for work and Katie's drive of the night, like of crazy.
Like we
So
didn't even plan this and we are on point with same things.
follow-ups are
So,
huge.
and my 5 is absolutely the same. And I was calling it maintenance, but same thing. And I always say when you finish your initial protocol, because I always do an initial protocol, when I get a new patient. When you're done that initial protocol
Yep.
and you come back for your last visit, we have to make a long-term plan. And here's your options. I give them 4, 8, 12. They're the amount of weeks you can come back between. You can pick any. Obviously, I'd love you to come once a month.
Yep.
I know it's not practical for everyone.
Yep.
8 weeks is really great. If I can get you in every 8 weeks, I'm happy. And you're doing your home care. like religiously. And minimum is 12 for me. If I can only see every 12 weeks, but you are very, very disciplined at home,
Mhm.
it's still, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But when you come on that 12th week, I'm
Yeah,
going to do something a little bit more intense than I'm probably doing to my patient who's coming every 4 weeks.
right.
So
Right.
at the 12 week, it might look like a Neo with a chemical peel that's a substantial peel, maybe a Jesner, something where, that I know is good for them and that it's going to be like a treatment. If they're coming every 8 weeks, I usually switch it up. I might do Neo and a Diamond Glow or Neo Hydrofacial, Neo with a lighter peel, whatever. And if it's every 4 weeks they're coming, I am usually just doing like Neo, maybe a Mandelic peel, maybe something mild, maybe even a peel pat
Or just a facial or yes.
or a facial with a Neo, something real mild, just to keep everything moving.
Yep. I
Well,
think it's
actually, I mean, I think we were pretty on the money there.
good.
Now, there are other important things in your practice, obviously, but these five to me are just
Dave.
they have to happen. And the reason I want to talk about it is because when I had the conversation with this practitioner, she wasn't doing all those things and wondering, feeling like she wasn't being as successful as she could. And you know what I told her, and I tell a lot of people this with their laser when we're talking about their laser. It is never your laser. It's never the laser unless the laser is having technical difficulties. But it is never the laser. It is always the operator or the patient.
Correct.
There's the problem. The problem lies within them. The laser works. We already know this.
And I have to say too, like not to change the subject a little bit, but I had a practitioner reach out to me this morning and they're having an event tomorrow. And she wrote down to me everything that they want to talk about in corporate, have the doctor talk about all of these things. And she said, I need your help with this. What would you, essentially discount? What would you give away? And for me, I want to answer her back shortly after we get off this. But one of my big things is when you are executing a plan of an open house or a party or anything, the number one thing that you should be doing when you're doing that, kind of like a consultation, is laying things out before you invite all these people and before you do all that. You
You
need
should have this all done.
the plan should be there, just like the plan of execution for consultations. And sometimes I think people's excitement get them to say, let's do this party, let's do this, but then they don't follow through with the plan, and then they get overwhelmed and then they're in their head about it. And I think if you just start, it's like everyday life, right? If you start every day with a plan, like I don't know,
100%.
you know,
It's
very busy,
I
like
always call
I'm
it
in
play
the
out the tape.
right,
Play out the tape. Don't just start anything until you play out the whole tape.
right.
See what's going to happen. Well, what am I going to do? Like the plan, it has to be in place. And pricing is another thing that comes up a lot. And like you have to understand your own demographic to a degree. Like I can help you, I can give you what I price or what I know, but I don't know your location. I don't know what your patients are willing to pay. We can't just throw prices out there if we know it's not going to work for our
Right.
patient.
In your demographic. And that's the thing, like on our very rare days off, Catie, I still like, even if my plan is to relax and spend time with my kids, it's the plan I have in the morning. I always have a plan, even in my personal life, let alone my professional.
Absolutely. My every day is planned.
Having a plan, and yes, it's not going to always go sunshine and
No,
roses,
but just to have it in place,
but in your
it
head,
helps keep you on track.
the direction that you're going in. And I think a lot of practitioners and business owners have
They
great
fly by the seat of their pants.
ideas, but fly at it. And then they're like, oh crap, now what?
Yeah. And listen, we're not here to criticize in any way, shape, or form
No, here to help.
because this is like this, I see this all the time. So nobody's alone in not doing those five things. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that. It's okay, but you need to implement them. Have a staff meeting, get these things in place. Start, if they're not in place, start putting them in place.
And listen, everybody that's hearing us right now, like Catie said, this is not, I'm so sorry. I have a tickle in my throat.
It's okay.
So this is not something we're coming down on people to make them feel bad. We want to help people because we were there once. But things that seem so simplistic to Catie and I after 20 years in this industry, we think of things on a bigger scale a lot now, and we're like, oh my gosh, people are struggling with that because we struggled with that too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
we
had
have
to be taught it. I had to be taught to
right,
do these things. I didn't just walk into my first job and knew I have to do this. I have to do this. I learned it from another human. We all learn from each other. And that's just how it works. And when people a lot of times I hear this, oh, I want some advanced training, advanced. You know what advanced is? Experience. That's
100%.
what advanced is, doing this every day of your life and learning it inside and out, and don't beat yourself up. Don't say I'm not doing well. I
Or
didn't know that. I didn't. Oh, great. I'm not doing any of those things. That's
no,
okay. It's
backward.
okay to not be. Start doing them. This is how we learn. This is how we grow, by
Absolutely.
not having an ego and taking advice from people who have been there already. The woman I was working with was a nurse. She worked in the ER for many years. I said, how about if you sent me into the ER at my local hospital and told me to put an IV in and do this and that, change their dressing, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't know what to do.
That craft for so many years, not ours.
But you could do it with your eyes closed.
Right.
That's what
Craft.
really know. And now you're trying to get into something new. Give yourself a break.
Give yourself some grace. And
Yes,
go out with this saying, it is a myth that you shouldn't always have a plan, because you should.
you should. And it is a truth that these 5 things we talked about today: consultation, before pictures, our daily regimen at home, regimen card, home care, whatever that it looks like. 3, 4, what was 4?
Protocol.
Oh, their patient protocol, and then oh no,
Science.
compliance.
Science.
And
Protocol science.
compliance and yes. And those things, they have to happen.
Follow up.
And 5 is the maintenance follow up.
Yep.
So if you can get those 5 things in place, it's going to help you a lot. And it's not hard once you start doing it, and all the people in your practice know. It becomes like a assembly line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your front desk girl knows, all your estheticians know, your nurses know, everyone in the office knows. Here's how it works. Sometimes I would be so busy, I might say to another practitioner in my practice, can you do this for me? Like, take her up to the front. She needs to replenish her even tone and her this. And I bring her up front, and she needs to make an appointment for a neo treatment in 6 weeks. Like, yeah, you can grab help from other people, but just make sure you get it done. Don't
Yep.
don't let any of these go by.
I think it's 5 keys to success, honestly. It
I
is.
know, we just made them and we didn't even know it.
And we
5 keys to success.
5 keys to success.
And this is another important thing. And this isn't one of the, I mean, it is, I guess, in a way, but like Ashlee, like, we say this all the time, but by the time your patient has been with you, let's say for 6 months, that patient should be really educated about skin and skincare and what is happening and why their skin is getting better. They should know why. It shouldn't be like when you go to the hair salon and the hairdresser dyes my hair. I don't know what she used in the back to mix the bowl. I really don't. But with this, they should know what we're doing and why.
Plain, yes.
Because if they get it, they're going to be more compliant.
I just had a really good idea.
Right.
Idea. So Catie and I are, I think, getting together in the next couple weeks, maybe in person, in like the next month or so.
Oh, yeah, we are. Maybe we could do a
When
hello
when
podcast.
you with the 2 other guests,
Yes.
I think we should all 4 do a podcast together and like
Okay, yeah, we can do it.
pick their brain with some things.
Let's do it.
1 or 2 more in before the end of the year this year.
Yeah, we should get like 2 more at least before this close up.
We have been neglecting everybody, and I think this year too, we said last year we would try, but I think this year too, in 2025, when we're in Paris, we need to do one live.
Yeah, we just need to make it, I mean, not that it's not a priority, it just is that we get busy and coordinating our schedule.
so everybody can see the chaos that happens when we walk the streets of Paris.
That is literally, that day was like, really, during, I didn't realize how crazy it was.
Katie,
After, when
I
we
do
broke down all of the individual things, it was pretty wild.
I do want everybody listening to know, and just I want you to picture this in your brain as we leave
What,
you.
me getting kicked out of the bathroom?
No, no. I'm talking about our recent events in Amsterdam when Kate
Uh,
had to call her husband because
yeah,
on a bicycle lost
I got lost on the bike
with 1% battery left on her phone.
on my phone in Amsterdam by myself. And if you ever rode a bike in Amsterdam, you will understand that it is a death trap.
And you will also understand that Sam, the man that saved our life all week, saved Katie's life and came to get her. And I call him Sam the van.
I mean, he's the man.
He
He
is,
literally is the man. He saved my life.
yeah. So I just want everybody, I want to leave everybody today with that little piece of information.
Just
Think
imagine me riding around Amsterdam on my hotel bike in
with
the
one,
wrong lane most of the time.
and Katie is always a jokester with her husband. And what does she do? She calls me, she's like, "What are you doing?" And normally she calls him with like some smart ass comment. She, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm in Sam the van's van.
And I'm
And
like, who's with you?
I'm lost. I'm lost.
I'm like, who are you with? Because
Yeah,
I didn't want any of you guys to know. Because I was like, I will be made fun of for years to come.
it's a great story though, Katie. It's a great story. I don't make fun of you because it's something I would have done. So I think we need to end this year with at least 2 more episodes and maybe a live, even with like a GoPro on our head or something in Paris.
Okay, good. But honestly, I think I rode like about 10 miles on the bike.
Katie was loving the hotel
I
bikes,
saw the entire city of Amsterdam.
which, which by the way, if anybody has never been there, they have to go. It's such a
It's
beautiful,
a very cool. It's
and
worth it. It's
so,
definitely worth it.
so kind, such a kind, sweet city. I love it.
Very, very nice. Yes, yes. And the EADV show was
Oh,
really
I,
great.
oh,
I always love these international shows, just seeing aesthetics all over the world. It's such a like inspiring thing.
it was such a amazing and a once in a lifetime experience, and I was so glad to be a part of
And the
it.
buzz around Lace, it gets so
Uh,
exciting. I
so-
mean, it's just really cool.
and I miss our barista, Hayden, if you're out there. I
We
miss
love
my
him.
ginger mint tea every morning of EADV,
Oh my
Hayden.
God. I came in every morning. I'm like, I need 3 shots of
I
espresso.
like tea. All
And
right,
then again at noon.
all. Hopefully this was helpful and insightful. We'll be on sooner than later. I'm not going to promise you when, but it is sooner than later.
Yeah, sooner than later. And please do feel free to, I'll start checking our Instagram inbox if you have any questions.
Yes, and I will check it as well. We both have access to it.
And
Um,
the Instagram is peeling back the truth. And there's a picture of me and Ashley, so you can't miss it.
you miss us. So everybody have a wonderful day. We hope that you know learn something today on peeling back the truth. So Katie, I'll see you soon.
Bye.